We say no more big bad wolf parties. It's time for change over the APP.
Introducing the APP candidate for St. George South, Everton, Holligan.
Thank you so much this evening for allowing me this opportunity to greet you in your homes and to explain a little bit about myself and who I am and why I'm here in offering myself as a candidate for St. George South. I do appreciate this opportunity. The thing is, I grew up in St. George South and I've lived all my life in St. George South. What drew me into politics was recently I was called to represent by Miss Lynette Eastman. I talked to her and she gave me the opportunity to explore politics in a deeper level. But as a young man, my introduction to politics was not the greatest. To be honest with you, I was a sports enthusiast. I was interested in playing on national levels, volleyball, soccer, etc. The small community that I grew up in Melverton, St. George, we didn't have the resources like other communities. And so many of the times we had to fight to get balls to play volleyball. We had to fight to buy nets. We had to fight, raise funds, and do quite a bit to get the basic needs, even for sneakers for some of our players to play. It was at this point that I was introduced to one of the politicians who were running in this area. And I can remember right now this politician saying to us, we don't need to worry anymore because he has already purchased the lights for our center, the lights for our playing field, so that we can have access to lights so we can continue to train and develop in our sporting skills. Year after year passed, those lights never came. Now, what that did to the members in my community, the young people, the youth, was it took away opportunities that we no longer had access to. So I'll tell you how that works. So in a community like this, if you can't get access to the playing field or to lights to play and nurture yourself within a particular sport, you then have to venture into another community. In venturing into the other communities, of course, home drums always beat first, which is fine, you know. But what happened then is that many of us who were developing within that community, we fell off our track. Because going into other communities, meaning you had to wait longer to get a play, or you were not considered to be even part of the team in such a way that you could be further developed. This was annoying to me. And so literally I was waiting for those street lights year after year, election after election, and the street lights never came, the hard court never came, and to this day, some 30 odd years away, we still don't have those resources for the young people in our community. So what's happening now is that we have a group of young people in our community who don't have the understanding of what this community gave birth to initially. They never saw us playing volleyball and playing soccer and playing, so they don't know that we have a track record as a community of developing sporting programs, developing cultural programs, because we don't have access to resources in our community in St. George. So as a young man, I would be fighting. I'd be writing letters to organizations to get sponsorship for balls, to get sponsorship for nets, for soccer, for boots. And so organizing the teams, but then we had to then ship out of our community to go to other communities to try to find a niche that we can play. This obviously led to loss of opportunity. Things haven't changed in St. George South, and things haven't changed across Barbados, to be honest with you, where that loss of opportunity is still there. And this is why we need to change. We need a change in the way we represent our constituency, because we have to be able to see the potential in the youth, be able to nurture it, and be able to guide it in a way in which it could then develop and flourish. So that passion for growth and development of the youth, I'm bringing with me to this campaign in St. George South. That passion I want to see from my children, I also want to see for the other youth within St. George South. And so it just made sense, perfect sense, that I advocate for better representation, but apart from just advocating, that I get involved in making sure I can see what I would love to see, that I can actually do, what I would love to see happen within our community. This is why I'm here asking you to consider another level of representation where opportunities are not missed, where youth have the opportunity to grow and develop, not just in their sporting skill, not just in their skills in terms of development, but just in every aspects of their life, because it can transfer over to jobs, it can transfer to career. And so ultimately, with that lost opportunity, then we end up with hopelessness. This hopelessness is what I'm hoping to address in St. George South. It has grown deeper. There are many young people who can't seem to find a way to fit, who don't seem to think that they belong. They see the discrepancies in our neighborhoods. They see the discrepancies in our nation. Those discrepancies are drowning them. So I, Everton, Heru, Holligan, have decided that I would get involved to make a change in this process and commit myself, if elected, to spend the 4, 5, or ever how long it is, years, to building operations on the ground in St. George South, building community team leaders in St. George South to scout the skills that's needed, to scout the passions in St. George South, in our youth, in our elderly, in everyone, so that we can find a way to channel that energy so we can have productive and successful citizens who feel as though they belong. And hopefully this will change the social scope and social fabric of our nation. So representation goes deep and wide for me, and I'm hoping that it goes deep and wide for anyone who's choosing to represent the people of Barbados. I'm confident that the members of the APP, the members of this particular party, and our leadership of Joseph Atherley and Lynette Eastman, I'm extremely confident that they can be a part of this new vision that we have to have for our nation, we have to have for our youth, and we have to that we will then use to transform our society. So for members of St. George South, those of you who are watching me, I hope you can listen to my heart, and I hope you can understand that there is a need for transformation, and you are an integral part to making that transformation matter and for that transformation to happen. So I suggest, and I'm going to humbly ask, for you to vote for me in this upcoming general election, Everton, Heru, Holligan, so I can be at the forefront of representing for your family and for your future. Thank you.
We rockin' with